My name is Terresa, and I am first and foremost a mom. I have two awesome sons. They like to hockey and coordinate. They're both very into sport. I was born to mother and nurture. That is what I do. I have an incredible connection with kids, adolescents especially, and that's what I do. I connect, I love people, I nurture them, I feed, I love cooking and feeding and looking after my family. And I work hard and I just try to live a really good life. I am HIV positive. I have been for also many years, actually 7. I'll know exactly the date that I tested positive. My journey with HIV has been more of a personal, introspective journey than a journey that out there, you know, for everybody else to see kind of thing. I'm the PA to the MD of an optical company. I've been there for so many years. As I've been HIV positive, I started working there 6 months after I tested positive. I am in charge of the whole company. I work with the most amazing people, and they've embraced me and accepted me, and they love me and they allow me to be exactly who I am. And I think that's why I love what I do.
Terresa, growing up as a child, was always the nurturing one. Nurtured Gavin, was his big sister, was everybody else's big sister as well. A very good pupil, a very warm, caring child. Daddy's girl, absolute daddy's girl, apple of her father's eye.
Teresa's always been a daddy's girl, you know. She's been a great big sister, you know. She was always there for me, you know. We grew up in difficult circumstances, you can say. And we formed a very close bond, Teresa and I.
My father was an alcoholic, and for most of our lives he drank. So a lot of our life, a lot of the moving around was not being able to keep jobs and changing jobs and changing different, you know, kind of things that he had to do to keep himself busy. And he was also in the army. He was a product of one of those white South African men that went into the South African Defence Force and came out a chronic alcoholic with huge aggression issues and all kinds of other stuff. We grew up in Norwood. I went to one high school. I went to 7 different primary schools, which is not healthy for a child in retrospect. But yeah, and I grew up in Norwood. I went to Waitley Girls for all the time that it took to get finished with school. I wanted to be a teacher, and then somewhere down the line, I don't know, I fell off the bus and I decided I wanted to get married and have babies rather, you know. I was 19 when I got married. By the time I was 21, I had both my boys. I was married for a long time. I was married for 13 years. And then unfortunately woke up one day and realized I was 30 and we'd grown so apart. We were just different people from different worlds. Got divorced and then started a whole different interesting journey. I tasted this other world, like going out and the partying, every Friday evening, every Saturday being hungover, drinking lots, meeting new people, putting yourself out there. There's this freedom, this sexual freedom as well, where you've been in a marriage for so long and so committed to one person, and then all of a sudden there's just all this stuff out there. These men and people, and they start, I lost a lot of weight, I've changed in a lot of ways. Made some really stupid choices with my life, really stupid.
You know, I'd never actually seen Teresa even have a glass of wine as her mother, okay? Suddenly she was having a glass of wine, she was going out, she was partying, she was just doing things that were maybe not the things that I had seen Teresa do. And then, of course, she met this person.
When I met Joe, I realized that the attraction was so instant and so incredibly intense and consuming. I was so completely obsessed with this man. There was violence, there was hitting and stuff, yeah, definitely.
Well, my mom, she met this one guy, and I really don't know how she met him, but anyway, she met him, and we got introduced, and she was staying with him for a while, for about maybe 2 or 3 months. Every second weekend we'll go visit my mom, go visit this guy as well. And he used to bring my brother down, bring me down, and he used to say ugly things like, we girls, we this, we that, and the next thing. And eventually we said to my mom, and we said to my dad as we sat them down, and we said, well, Mom, look, if you're going to carry on seeing this guy and he's going to be bringing us down and stuff like that, we don't want to go there anymore because we don't feel like it's comfortable for us, you know what I mean?
I think I became very responsible as a parent. That's why for me it was a dark period. The relationship was so bad, it was so abusive, and yet I stayed and I gave my kids up. Who the hell does that? For a man.
Where did Teresa get an idea of that this was the right kind of man? And my father had a problem with alcohol, was an aggressive man, was an abusive man, I think at times, you know. And that's what you become, and that's what I became. And that's what Teresa looked for.
Do you know, in a relationship, he's so emotionally destructive that he would tell me, like, my behavior was that of a mad person's. I was convinced my hormones were completely out of whack. So the reason for going to the doctor was, I'm here, you need to do something, you need to do blood tests, my hormones are out of whack, I'm behaving like a mad woman most of the time. We did the blood tests and off I went. Walk into the room and my file is on the table. And I opened the file and there it was. And I was like, no, this is the wrong room they've put me in, closed the file and pushed it across the desk. And then I sat and waited. And then I started to shake and I realized that this is like my worst fear, and it wasn't even the reason I'd had the blood test in the first place, was real. It was coming true. There was something wrong. How could this possibly be happening? Climbed in the car, and I knew that Joe was down the road at the pub, and I was going to go and find out from him what the hell was going on here. What? Drove down, walked into the pub, and I had the test results in my hand, and I walked up to him and I said to him, you better explain this. And he grabbed me to take me away from the people. And I just became completely hysterical. I'm going to be honest and tell you, I threw the first punch. And he hit back. And it carried on for some time. He hit back hard. And I think he broke my nose. And the blood started coming out. And when the blood came out, that's when I realized that I had to turn around and get away from him as quickly as I possibly could. And I needed to get to a safe place. I got in the car, drove home, drove into the driveway, and my parents were sitting out on the porch. And I was hysterical. And my dad got up and he saw me and he saw the blood.
And Alex said, has there been an accident? Teresa, has there been an accident?
They came to me kind of thing. I was like, stay away, I'm bleeding and I've got AIDS.
At that moment, I think Alex's life and my life just stood still. The immense pain that came through, this anger, but I just wanted to close her in and protect her from anything that anybody could ever do to her. And Alex went quiet, came out of the bathroom with a towel and wrapped it around her and just held her. And we cried.
When she told me it was like a death for me, you know. It was like shock, and then denial, and then anger. Didn't know how to deal with it initially, and you have to go through those phases of mourning, you know, to get to the other side, to accept this, because it's my sister, you know. I love her.
And then, of course, everything just started to roll from there. The hurt, the pain, the rejection. We were kind of almost ostracized as a family. We were shut out by our family,
My dad had made contact with an uncle on the other side of the family, and he managed to get us a second opinion with Reuben Shu. And I think that was my saving grace. I believe that was my saving grace, because I got to go to somebody who was so knowledgeable and so informed and so completely amazing. I mean, he took us all in. He explained everything to us in real terms, and he was one of the first and few people who spoke so straight to me. He was like, "You are only just HIV positive. There's a huge, long, lifetime journey still that you have to make, and you need to get your act together so you can do it." And I was like, "All right, well then I need a support group. How the hell am I going to do this on my own?" He was like, "No, you don't. There's no need for support here. There's nothing wrong with you." I think it was hard in the beginning because a month to the date almost, my dad died of a massive heart attack while he was away on business. He went away on business and died in his hotel room. And that was hard. That was very hard for me. It felt very unfair, like life was really now being unfair. I kind of needed to accept my HIV status was due to bad choices, but did I have to lose my dad now on top of this? Who was going to help me deal with this, you know?
And I think he was broken-hearted when he died, because he died 6 weeks later. I believe Alec died a broken-hearted man, because I think he thought in his heart, if only my family, because he came from a big family, if my family could have stood by me, I could have handled this. But he was so broken-hearted, he couldn't.
I think that everything works out for a reason, and there's a plan in everybody's life, and it was, I think for me now, if my dad had still been around, I may have used him too much as a crutch, because he always saved me, he always rescued me, he'd bail me out of money problems, he'd rescue me if I couldn't do something at home, or if the boys were being difficult, he'd step in and help. And this was a time in my life where if I was going to survive this, I was going to have to stand up on my own 2 feet and do this. I waited a couple of years before I told the kids, the boys, that I was HIV positive. And then eventually I got to a point where the school phoned me. Wesley was already finished school, but Ashley was still at school, and Mrs. Murray, the principal, phoned me up the one day. She knew. I tell everybody, except my kids. And she phoned me up and she said to me, "Look, there's something up. Ashley's behaviour is out of the ordinary at school. There's definitely something going on. And she's had a chat with him and he thinks I have cancer." And I just, straight out, I said to them, "You guys have obviously realised that there's something going on, and I just want to tell you that I'm HIV positive."
You sit there and you think, oh wait, how did the common gay virus or the black virus infect my mother? We're suburban people. How did this happen?
It didn't hit me at when my mom was telling us and stuff. It was like, oh, okay. And then I got to work, and then when you sit down and you think about it, I was thinking, and I thought, damn, my mom's got HIV.
They told all of their friends. I said to them they had a choice. You can tell who you feel comfortable telling. You know, they have to deal with this now, because it now becomes their issue too. And they told everybody. Everybody knows. Everybody.
For me, it's not an issue because of the fact that we were educated thereafter about the virus. And I mean, once we're educated enough to understand it, you become more accepting, because it's not a problem anymore. You just realise you're going to wake up and your mom's going to be there. Whereas when we were first told, when we weren't educated, the next thought in my head was, am I going to wake up tomorrow morning and my mom's going to be dead?
This is important for me, how me, Wesley and Ashley, influence the other people in our lives now.
My name is Nicole. I'm currently dating, seeing Wesley. I've been with him for approximately 5 years. About a month, 2 months into our relationship, I met his mom. Terresa was very out there, very outgoing and very different from what I was used to. I come from a very reserved kind of background. Everyone knows I'm not afraid to tell anyone. It's a reality, it happens all over the world, and it makes you no difference, absolutely.
It was important for me to tell her because, no, this is a girl that I really, really liked and maybe you could have a future with.
And I was a bit shocked, taken back at first, but it never fazed me because I saw her as my second mom.
When I found out that Ashley's mom was HIV positive, I was very confused. The first thing I thought was, how did she get it? Knowing that she's HIV positive makes me aware of what can happen. And it can happen to anyone. Someone so close like Ashley, his mom's HIV positive.
I needed to be able to come to terms with my living with HIV, and part of that process was, what do I do now? I have all this information. I love chatting, and I do it all the time. I talk incessantly to everybody that I meet. And I decided that that's what I need to do. I'm going to be a little person, but I'm going to make a change to every single person that I meet. I've done a couple of corporate stuff, done corporate talks, doing the whole prevalence testing thing. I've done lots of testy things, where you go in and you tell people your long sad story and then you scare the living daylights out of them and they quickly can have an AIDS test because the nurse is just sitting down the road over here. I have lots of people at work that have come to me. I have 2 special people who are full-blown and have had TB, and I promise you have come back from the brink of death. And they came and told me, and I could help them to deal with it. I could tell them exactly where they needed to go, which hospital, get in there quickly, this is what he needs to be eating, this is what he needs to be doing, kind of thing. About
6 months into me working in the organisation, she quite matter-of-factly just sort of brought it up in conversation, and I was, I guess initially like one does, and well, I didn't know that. You would never be the kind of person I'd imagine that would be HIV positive. Yeah, certainly I was quite surprised for her to come out and be so proactive, and I guess she lives her life like that, tackling it on head-on as opposed to being defensive about it.
On the work side of things, if I need anything done, then Teresa's generally the lady to go to. But besides that, she's also like a mother to everyone here at the company as well. And not only work-related issues, but also personal issues. She's definitely always someone that staff feel comfortable to go to. So she's like a mother figure to a lot of the staff here, which, at the end of the day, I think that's definitely one of the best qualities about her, is that it doesn't matter what or when, she'll definitely make a plan to help you out.
Chomi ke colleague ke family ho nna wa ba ntho tse ngata ke na le problem ke ya o yena then I'll solve le tsona ke be sharp lipsi if ke le se right ke am phonela ke na le stress are just calm down lo ba sharp o ska wa re share wa bona so far ona needs a wrong for yena ho nna all right o sharp.
Happy birthday to you. Hooray! 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 So you have me too. Ready when you get to the buzz, Queen, go.
My children are at a point in their lives where they are ready to go out there, and this scares me senseless because I am nowhere near ready to let go. Ashley and Gabby are going off to New Zealand at the end of the year. Ashley's going to go and study there, and Gabby's parents are over there already.
I should be leaving to go to New Zealand to start my studies. And we're going to go spend some time with Gabby's mom while we're there.
I feel bad taking Ashley away from his mom. I think also because of the HIV. because anything can happen. But she's strong. She like shows a lot of strength.
Technology today enables us to be seconds apart from each other. So with me being overseas, it's just like me being at a friend's house.
Well, my brother's leaving, and I'm happy for him that he's leaving, but I don't know the feeling that I would feel when like the moment now, it's still normal because he's still here. I think it will actually come into play when he's gone.
You know, the kids are getting ready to leave home, and what the hell am I going to do with myself? I'm scared of being alone. I don't want to be alone. 43 years old. Probably got another 30 or 40 years of living. Don't want to do it on my own. You know?
It will work out. I won't be the oak who goes and says, okay, right, Mom, I'm going to go now and stay with my girlfriend now for a week and leave you here by yourself.
So she was born and she knew she wasn't going to be just a normal person out there. She didn't now know this was the road, you know, you got to be careful kind of what you put out there. She's doing something about it, she's helping other people, she's educating, like her role, her calling, you know, her purpose is huge, and she's living her purpose.
Every time you retell your story, you heal yourself a little bit more. Or each time you retell your story, you realize that you're stronger this time. You've come further down the line, you know more, that's part of it. But I also think that part of, like, I don't know, I've always believed that I'm going to be out there with this. I'm going to be out there. It's not just the people that I work with and my immediate family. I'd like to go out there and change. I think that especially middle-class white South Africa is in denial. I don't care what anybody says. That is my story and I'm sticking to it. And I want you to know that I am middle-class white South Africa. I'm not black, I'm not gay, I'm not a prostitute, but I'm HIV positive.
Terresa, you rock.